Well, let's say that you and I are friends, and I call you, and I say that I invite you to walk around the neighborhood with me. So we meet up at a park and we head downtown to sightsee. Now, living in a great neighborhood, you and I both see the shops and something catches our eye. We see a local theater, and that theater right there has a humongous sign with sparkling lights that can never go amiss. And you and I both realize that they are showcasing a play. There's a banner right there, and it says The Theater of Life. We both go inside, and we both buy our tickets and we sit down in our seats, awaiting the show. Wait, have I introduced myself? My name is Kayyisa Nadira Mazaaya, a 10th grade student living here in Bogor. And so now that we've known each other, let's get on with our show. In the play that you and I are both watching, the main character of this play is language. And in this first act, language is having the role of the story in the human life. Now, we all know that language is like a series of codes and expressions meant to convey a certain meaning to each side of the conversation. It's what makes us humans be able to cooperate, be able to communicate, and be able to grow and trade as a species. Well, language is more than just words. Language is more than just conveying something to another person, because language carries its own story. Language isn't only about words, it's a story. It's a reflection of the culture that speaks it. For example, when I want to learn more about a certain culture, the first thing that I see here is language. So in seeing a language alone, we can see what the culture is. We can see whether it's a subtropical culture, whether it's a tropical culture, whether it's a maritime or an agricultural culture, and you can literally see the characteristics of a culture just based on the language. For example, in the Indonesian language, we have many words to express rice. Rice alone can also mean as padi, beras, gabah, and many more things that we Indonesians use to address rice. And if we compare that to the English language, for example, the English language only uses rice and uses a much simpler way than us Indonesians to address the word rice. So that could mean that Indonesia is an agricultural country which relies on rice as its main sources of food. Now we move on to Act 2. In this act, language plays another role. Language is playing the role of the tool. So, what is the similarity between Burj Khalifa, the Empire State Building, AI, ChatGPT, and Instagram? Well, they all are the result of an innovative society, and the innovative society is of course us, Homo sapiens. And what makes us so innovative? And what is the key aspect to have an innovative society? Well, the first thing is we need to cooperate, because humans are Zune politician, which means that they are social people, they are social creatures. And because of this, communication needs language. And in here, language plays a role as a tool. Language plays a role as building blocks to make new things. And for example, if you take an example is the programming language. Programming is also a language. It's a language meant to communicate between humans and humans, and between humans to computers. Without the language of programming, we won't be able to make AI, we won't be able to make ChatGPT. And the ancient Egyptians, they won't be able to store their taxes, they won't be able to make such extravagant pyramids without the use of language as their tool. Now we move on to Act 3. In this act, language is the bridge. Language is the glue that keeps us together, whether it's the cultures from the past or the cultures that are now existing in the present. For example, we take the language of English, the English language. Right now, there are over 1 million users of English right now, coming through many different countries. Right now, English is kind of regarded as the global language. And without English as a language, what can we do? Well, we would be kind of confused, because we need language, we need English to communicate with people of certain backgrounds. And even memes and the internet slangs, they are a bridge that keeps us one community. And it doesn't only limit us to the cultures and the differences of people in the present, we can also communicate through language and with cultures that have long gone lost. We can communicate with the Incans, we can communicate with the Egyptians, because we now have the ability to understand their language. And with understanding their language, we can build a bridge that can connect us with the cultures of the past, the present, and probably even in the future. Now let's get back to the play that we both are watching. Now, the great play of the human journey. And language gets to be the main character of this play. What would happen if the main character itself would disappear? Well, the play wouldn't run. Stories would disappear, knowledge would fade and be forgotten, and a part of our culture, a part of ourselves would erode and become. That is why, as a human, as a person, we must understand the importance of language, not just as a media of communication, but in preserving history, culture, knowledge, and identity. Lights out, the curtains are closing. We both stand up and we both head home, both in our thoughts. We both realize that the importance of language in communicating and in connecting the culture is really big, and the impact is humongous. That is all for me. My name is Kayyisa Nadira Mazaaya, and thank you all for watching.